6 weeks ago, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' re-election campaign committee started selling shirts and more that say, "Don't Fauci my Florida," and attacking what he called Faucism. Now, just in the 6 weeks since the governor's re-election campaign launched those products, more than 5,000 Floridians have died of coronavirus. What do you make of the way some of these governors and politicians are attacking you?
Well, I mean, whoever is attacking me, just a reflection of the politicization of what should be a purely public health issue. And it's really unfortunate. You know, they're attacking personally me because I'm a visible person, but I'm merely articulating the proper public health practices that are recommended strongly by an organization, and that organization is the CDC. So they like to pick out a certain person because they could make that person, you know, the personification of political divides, which is so unfortunate, Jake. We should put all of that aside. We have an extraordinary problem that's killing people in the United States, killing us, putting us in the hospital. So that kind of politicization that you just mentioned, there's no place for that when you're dealing with a public health crisis.
Right, because if there's anyone on the face of the earth who should be criticizing medical professionals, it's the guy in charge of the state that's become the epicenter of this pandemic. I can only assume that "Don't Fauci my Florida" must mean that someone might actually help the state, and clearly that's the last thing that DeSantis is interested in. Now, just for some context here, Florida currently leads the entire nation in hospitalizations, with over 16,000 Floridians hospitalized, where 95% of the state's ICU beds are currently filled. Florida's also set an all-time record for new cases, with more than 27,000, bringing the weekly number of new cases to over 150,000 for the third straight week. And that weekly case number includes over 26,000 children under 12, meaning kids' lives are being jeopardized because of the leadership's incompetence. In total, there have been over 43,000 deaths in the state. And so knowing all of that, the fact that Ron DeSantis' response is to attack the nation's premier immunologist is all the more misguided. If anything, DeSantis should be begging Dr. Fauci for help. He should be begging any medical professional for help. To watch your state turn into the epicenter of what is now an avoidable pandemic, and then not only staying the course, but actually disparaging those who are just trying to help, really does go to show just how dangerous and incompetent Ron DeSantis is. In fact, judging by what DeSantis is actually doing, you would think he was trying to entrench this pandemic. Remember, it was him who threatened to withhold the salaries of superintendents and school board members who defied his executive order banning mask mandates in schools. In other words, the governor of the state with the most cases and hospitalizations in the entire United States was using his power to not only relax measures that would help rein in this pandemic, but punish those who do want to make an effort to keep people safe. Now, luckily, a raft of school districts mandated masks anyway, and a Florida judge has ruled that his order is unconstitutional. But the fact that everyone seems to be focused on helping people survive other than DeSantis goes to show just how much of a problem it is to have a governor more interested in getting his Fox News hits on a nightly basis than in helping keep the people of his own state, including children, alive. Now, as far as what Dr. Fauci said concerning the right choosing someone to personify political divides, this is what the right has always done. This has always been their MO. They need a boogeyman to vilify. Why? Because it's not effective enough for them to focus on the issues. And so instead, they choose a person that they can hammer away at on a daily or hourly or minute-by-minute basis. This is exactly why the GOP is still, to this day, attacking Hillary Clinton. It's why they focus on Hunter Biden, because he's flawed and so they can use him as a proxy to attack Joe Biden and his policies. It's why they're focusing on the police officer who shot Ashley Babbitt, the insurrectionist who broke through a window of the Capitol on January 6th, because they can vilify him as a person to deflect the blame away from those on their own side who are literally trying to assassinate elected officials. Picking out individuals and destroying their lives for their own political gain isn't just one strategy the GOP uses, it's their main strategy. They can't win on the strength of their ideas because they are woefully unpopular, so they find people whose flaws they can exploit for political gain instead. The fact is that because Ron DeSantis is more concerned with his own political ambitions than the well-being of the people he swore an oath to protect, he isn't going to change. Florida will remain the epicenter of this virus because Ron DeSantis has decided that a public health crisis should be a culture war. And so he'll push back against masks and offer tepid support for vaccinations because for him, putting everything into camps of being left or right is clearly more important than dying and surviving. That is the danger of putting people's lives in the hands of an absolute partisan, someone too blinded by his own personal ambition to help the people who put him in this position in the first place. So Ron DeSantis will continue to sacrifice children and students and their parents and their grandparents, all because the GOP has planted its flag as the no mask, no vaccine party. All because they've convinced themselves that letting a virus spread uncontrollably somehow means they're free and the rest of us aren't. So as we continue to needlessly lose Floridians, the people of that state should be clear-eyed about exactly who's in charge and exactly who's to blame. If you enjoyed that video and you're looking for a deeper dive, check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. It's a no BS look at the top stories of the week, along with interviews with the top names in politics, like Vice President Kamala Harris, Jen Psaki, Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Katie Porter, Pete Buttigieg, and more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Also, if you want to see more videos like this one, click the subscribe link right here on this screen to join the more than 1 million people who've already subscribed to my channel. And finally, to donate to my Don't Be a Mitch fund, where I'm raising money for a whole raft of different voter outreach and voter registration groups in the closest states ahead of midterms in 2022, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Texas. You can find that link on this screen as well. Thanks for watching.